Good morning and welcome to School Board 101. Today, we will be discussing school boards and their function. Specifically, we are going to talk about how you can become a voice for change in your community by understanding how school boards work. My name is Dr. Michelle Neely. I am a school administrator in DeSoto ISD, and I am so glad to be with you here today. So let's start with the history of school boards in Texas. Texas has always been laser focused on education. The history of contention between Mexico and Texas actually has its origin in how early Texas settlers believed the Mexican education system was inequitable. The creation of the school board between 1840 and 1911 was created to increase equity and access for Texas children who were sprawled all across the rural parts of Texas at that time. There has been a long and storied history of evolution as it relates to school boards in Texas since their beginning in 1911. However, all districts are organized roughly the same way. The school board has one employee, which is the superintendent, and the superintendent is the steward of the district. Academic, Academics, financial operations, and policy creation and implementation are three of the superintendent's big rocks. Some of the other things that superintendents have to focus on are setting the direction of the district through the articulation of the mission and vision, and they have to work with the public um, to make sure that students leave the educational system they lead as productive citizens for the community and the workforce. The school board plays a crucial role in thinking through all of the different big rocks that the superintendent has to take on. And the board's primary role is to ensure that the mission and vision of the entire system is being articulated each day as well. School board members are elected by the community. Candidates who run for school board seats have to receive 50% of the vote to win. School board elections take place the first Saturday in May and also the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November, and we call that Super Tuesday. School board members typically hold 2-year terms once they are elected, and there are 7 school board members. Charter schools have appointed boards, and that's something that makes them different from other public systems. The mission of public education in the state of Texas is to ensure that all students in Texas have access to a quality education that enables them to achieve their full potential and participate now and in the future in social, economic, and educational opportunities of our state and of the nation. The Board of Trustees is the governing body for Texas Public School. To effectively meet the challenges of public education, school boards and superintendents must function together. They have to work as a governance leadership team, and each leadership team annually assesses its development both corporately and as individuals. As a team, they set a focus on improvement of locally developed student outcomes and provide support for opportunities and experiences through vision and goals, systems and processes, progress and accountability, advocacy and engagement, and synergy and teamwork. Teams ensure that their districts provide equitable and effective educational programs and services for all Texas students. The framework for school board development has been approved by the State Board of Education to provide training on critical areas of development for all school board members. School board members undergo extensive and continuous training based on the framework of school board development. As members undergo continuous training, school boards learn to focus on their primary functions as leaders. Some of the things that they will learn are how to provide citizenry governance and oversight of public education. They also learn how to deal with the latitude to help shape educational programming that they have. School board members also learn how to govern the district with advice from the superintendent, and they provide oversight to the superintendent. They also adopt policies and direction from the educational system. And if we could break down their responsibilities, they would be broken down into 5 major areas. So let's start at the top. School board members adopt goals and priorities and monitor success. District planning is one of the most important tasks that the school board can perform. Developing a vision and a mission and adopting goals and priorities for the district sets the course and keeps the district moving in a positive direction. The second thing they do is adopt policies and review the effectiveness of those policies. This is a key responsibility of the board, and they're constantly adopting local policies that guide how the district operates. The administration and district staff make important decisions based on the district policy. Local school boards must adopt policies that are consistent with the federal and state laws and regulations, and they have to ensure that they match the district practice. The school board also hires all members or oversees the hiring and evaluation of the superintendent. Again, the school board only has one employee, and that is the superintendent. The board sets goals and priorities and adopts the policies by which the district is run. The board hires a superintendent who also has to execute the policies and the board decisions. The superintendent's role then is to act as the chief executive officer for the district, ensure that the board's policies are implemented fairly and appropriately. The superintendent has to move the district forward on the board's goals and priorities, and the superintendent has to be accountable for the progress made towards successful school operations. And so if you've ever watched a school board meeting, you'll see a superintendent stand up and present, and they're typically presenting on the board goals that have been adopted by the board. And so every month, the superintendent reports the progress on those goals. The board also has to adopt a budget and set a tax rate, and they have to communicate with the community. So the school board's role in adopting the budget is an ongoing activity. The superintendent and staff crunch all of the numbers for the school district budget, and they have to present it to the board for approval. So when it comes to the school district's budget, what does the school board do? Well, the school board reviews and approves a calendar for the budget preparation cycle. They examine budget assumptions, the broad guidelines and targets that the administration uses in preparing the budget. They study the budget proposals to make sure it reflects the goals and priorities of the board. And then they hold required public hearings. They adopt a budget and approve an appropriate tax rate to fund it, and they monitor the district's fiscal activities throughout the year and amend the budget as necessary. They also have to hire an independent auditor and approve the report from the annual financial audit. School boards members who want to exercise responsible stewardship of district finances should also be armed with other information to help them make good critical decisions. Two things that they need to know are the basic information about the district's budget so that they can anticipate the district's revenue profile in coming years. And they have to have a habit of asking about the long term fiscal impact of board decisions so that they can begin to understand the complexities of budget decisions and avoid making decisions that put the district in a difficult position down the road. This is a very, very critical role because the district has to future proof, or the board has to future proof all of the district's decisions and make sure that down the road citizens are well prepared because they went through the educational system that's in place. So the final responsibility of the board is to serve as an advocate for public schools. One of the key things trustees can do is to listen to their community. It's one of the best ways that trustees can build trust between the district and the community. They have to stay involved, um, and they have to be informed about district plans and the actions, accomplishments, and they have to be able to promote the great things that are going on in the district. Board members are the link between the school system and the public. As advocates of public education, board members help grow communities, and they help garner support for public school, and they report district progress by communicating with the constituents and the community about what's going on in particular schools. They communicate highlights and shine a light on the staff and parents, and they help shape the story that the community will receive and that the media will pick up about the district. Once the board makes a decision, the board's role is to engage the community in the ways that promote continued constructive decisions, generate positive community interest in the efforts of the public schools, and understand that that role in and of itself is just a very difficult and tenuous job. But serving as a school board trustee carries a great burden for the individual. And it's not just a representative seat. As you can see from the responsibilities, it is a hefty role to bear the burden of making sure that school boards or that the school system is providing an equitable educational system that prepares students for both now and the future. School district School districts and charter schools are created in accordance with the law of the state, and they have the primary responsibility for implementing the state system of public education and ensuring that student performance is in accordance with the code, the Texas Code of, and the law for education. Ultimately, the school board bears the weight of ensuring democracy continues to prevail. It is important then to understand why you have to vote for the right person for a school board. School board members must engage in very difficult work. This is second only, I think, to city governance and second only to the work that is actually happening in the schools. If we do not elect the right people for school board positions, we put our schools in jeopardy and students will suffer. However, I know that armed with the right information, you're going to make great decisions for your school board and your school systems in the city where you live. Thank you for your time today. Again, my name is Dr. Michelle Neely. I'm a school administrator, and I appreciate you taking the time to make sure that you are armed with the information needed to make the right decisions for students. Take care and have a great day.